Hello, and welcome to another episode of my Alpha Centauri Let's Play. This is Northstar. Those of you new to my channel, welcome. Those of you returning, welcome back. For newbies, you can check this series out. It's in a playlist from the beginning. I recommend doing so. There's lots of stuff I've been doing. And, follow the story as it goes along. Some of the videos are too slow. YouTube has a great feature for increasing playback speed. I do apologize. I'm sometimes not the quickest. I am disabled with long COVID. I can't always think the most quickly or focus. I get distracted easily. I have trouble remembering what I was up to. Anyways, so I was here eyeing the site for the UN Medical College base. It'll probably be right next to where you see this road in the forest. Probably put a borehole there after lower terrain one level. Even though it'll be at over 1,000 meters, it won't be adjacent to anything that's below 1,000 meters because it's currently at over 2,000, so it can't be. Everything, the lowest elevation that can be adjacent to 2,000 plus is a 1,000 plus tile. So lower the terrain, dig a borehole, and then that won't actually affect the attitude, whatever. It won't lower any of the neighboring tiles, is the point. Even this one isn't quite 3,000 meters, so it won't be pulled down. Elevation band. Might bring some of them a fraction, but it won't. Point is, it won't affect solar collector yields in the area. Unlike, say, here where there's this 3,400 meter peak, and when I lower the elevation, where is it? Flat moist there, yeah. Here and here will both be boreholes when I lower these tiles. Maybe another one here, but yeah, these two, it'll pull down the peak and elevation band. I can raise back up after the boreholes are constructed, however, and that shouldn't destroy them. Could just as easily do a borehole here instead of... Oh yeah, I might want to one here, or here. I don't know. Different spots I could pick for thermal boreholes is the point, I suppose. Chopping down the forest wood get me a bit of mineral yield. So that get 5 minerals when you chop a forest down. And on this tile, I might want a condenser to support some of these arid tiles. Having condenser farms, the rolling ones, so before I get the rocky tiles cleared, there's no easy way to get this to rainy without putting a condenser. So yeah, maybe a condenser here and a condenser here too, for that matter. Or no, maybe it's a solar panel here. It'll be rainy at that point. And produce 4 energy, which isn't bad. It's worth knowing if you're not really concerned, if you don't have money concerns paying for the site costs of a pop, such as the walls, free talents, providing enough psych, or retcons are pretty cheap. You can actually get more energy out of specialists than solar panels, but usually that requires more infrastructure. So solar panels can make some sense, even out here where there's some inefficiency, just because it's like almost half the energy, just because you don't have to invest in as many facilities, at least for a while. The energy can be put into psych, which can allow more of the specialists to not be doctors and be like librarians, technicians, engineers. But when I do get empaths with Centauri meditation, psych specialists are suddenly not so bad. Right. Anyways. So I've got war going on with the Spartans here. Got this transport bring back a damaged rover. Trying to figure out when I should unload it. Give me a moment. Yeah, there's not a ton of use to that, except for getting... Sorry, I'm not being clear. I could have the transport go here, then send the rover. But there's not a ton of use of carrying the rover any further on the transport, except to get the probe teams here to the front quicker, which maybe it eventually steal tech from the Spartans. They'll have polymorphic software in 4 turns, though, so it's got a bit of a wait. I did interestingly note that the Hive has a tech rate that's almost equal to mine. They must be running librarians or something. They're about to finish Doctrinaire power. The Gaians actually have the highest tech rate in the game right now, 40 tech a turn. I have the second highest. Now, the Gaians have very high efficiencies, even though their bases are all spread out. They're not losing a lot of energy, and they've been at peace, not next to as aggressive a neighbor as me. And next to the Spartans, so I had to worry about... they are running democratic, interestingly, instead of police state, which you would think Gaians would be running police state because of high pressure, but yeah, the Gaians are peacefully taking up, but their military is probably not the strongest, even with mine worm captures, so they might pay for that overbuilding, basically. Hive, on the other hand, they can run police state without efficiency penalties. Their efficiency is... In fact, their efficiency is higher than mine. I'm at -1, they're at 0. And they probably have very strong industry, and at librarian difficulty, they get +2 growth. Then they're running planned, which is +2, and they have challenge creations in places like here. I don't know if the space is in a pop boom. It actually could be, because it has the nutrients. It has +2 growth in this, +2 from planned, +2 from difficulty, and also +1 from being hive. So it should be at +7 growth, which is enough for pop booming. I just don't know if the difficulty growth bonuses allow pop booming, or if they just sit at effectively +5, which they'd be at anyways with the creche planned and being the hive. So if they're actually getting any additional growth from difficulty or not. If they are, they're probably pop booming. I'll have to see if Fellowship City is at size 4 next turn, or if it's 2 turns till they are. Let's see. Here, I took Parade Ground. I got over here that I tried to occupy this monolith to slow this impact infantry and deny the Spartans little energy. Because, you know, some of it's going to tech, which I'll steal, but some's going to econ. And deny minerals, as I was saying. Looks like the only thing that they will complete. This just doesn't even have any minerals. Fort Superior is the only base that's actually even remotely close to producing impact infantry soon, and Citadel Station a while later. Oh no, they might get one at Darwin before I take Darwin. But yeah, it's mostly the forces that are arrayed against me I have to worry about. A bunch of new infantry coming to being unless Spartans spend energy to hurry. Which they have 98 energy, so they could hurry stuff. Not at Fort Superior because they're running minerals deficit, but at Citadel Station they could hurry this armored impact infantry and solid domain once they finish the first row. Lost the impact infantry at Sparkman. So yeah, if they spent energy, they might get some out quick, I suppose. But yeah, I destroyed a mine here with this recon rover. I think it doesn't count as an attack, so they should be able to disengage when attacked. And I doubt the Spartans will attack this rover, though if they do, they'll be out in the open for a counterattack. And it lost and disengage. If they don't, well, this will be positioned to more quickly roll into fort superiority. Next turn, probably. So I want to overrun the base before long. They have 6 infantry. Most of the army is still down in Darwin. It's nice having infiltration. Right. Anyways, I like the transport to be on the front so that I can pull damaged rovers back quickly. Say if I attack, or pull them to repair. Say if I attack Fort Superior, I'll have some rovers sitting outside the base. Probably they got damaged too much to have a third of move left. Move into the base, and those ones I might be able to use a transport to pull into Fort Superiority and unload them so they heal faster. As an example, of course I probably take it before the transport's there, but it'll be useful for various things on the front is the point. So I'm just going to send that rover back on its own power. Give it a little bit of a boost getting back quickly, but I just don't have enough transports, enough APCs basically. Give me a moment. Should probably rush this scout rover to the front. So I can overrun the Spartans. Have victory, which reminds me of a quote from the expansion for, I think it's adaptive doctrine. You say victory, war is destruction, but war is victory. Something about victory's victory. When I do probably Thinker Mod play, you guys will see that quote, or you can look it up. But it's a Cinda Rose quote, one of her best. She's Data Angel leader. But yeah, it's ironic that things like doctrine mobility did a inflexible attachment to mobility. And really, you got to adapt your doctrine itself to whatever your situation is. So, attain victory, which More terrible luck. I have not had the best luck here. However, I guess the scout rover is technically protecting this swarmer and probe team for the moment. Next turn, I'll protect some probe teams in the monolith. 2 of them. Well, no, this is slow. Well, 1. And so on. I'll just keep advancing until it's the front. And scout rover, not terribly useful attacking, but I can upgrade it to a missile rover. It's a veteran rank, so I'm willing to sometimes upgrade veteran commando rovers. Or I can use it to mop up damaged Spartan units, hope for it to get to commando and definitely promote at that point. My best, most experienced rovers get the new missiles, basically. Which I guess from a roleplay perspective might be in limited production. So what else? In the real world at this time, of recording this, which is June, Israel's made an unprovoked attack on Iran, firing missiles and dropping bombs on them, which resulted in Iranian retaliation and now talk of outright war, with Pakistan maybe potentially joining the war on Iran's side if one breaks out, which Prevanol is Pakistani in the game. He was a Pakistani doctor who served when there was a nuclear war between India and Pakistan. In the the history of Alpha Centauri, the future history, kind of future whenever speculative history. Whoop. Shoot. Gah! Really? This time moved. Forgot there's a forest there. The condenser kind of conceals it. I have to go through the mine. Pathfinding was right this time. I solely wanted the rovers to be faced a certain way. Yeah.
Turn complete. Turn complete.
So, yeah, the fact that Wall was Pakistani, the whole potential of nuclear war occurring between Pakistan, Iran, and Israel, because Israel's nuclear armed, Pakistan is nuclear armed, Iran is working towards nuclear weapons, and India is nuclear armed and very well could end up joining such a war on the side of Israel. India might, because they've been working with them, buying surveillance technology from the Israelis and stuff. Surveillance technology the Israelis perfected from creating basically an open-air prison camp for the Palestinians in what should be their own land. After reminding people, Israel is located on stolen land. Something YouTube will probably try and censor me for saying, because give even fewer views to my channel, and if I ever got to the point of monetizing, try and demonetize this video, because oh my god, you can't say anything that criticizes a genocidal regime. It's ridiculous. Just because they're an ally of the US government, which is not a democracy. The U.S. government, or people would be like, oh, it's a republic. It's not. Republic is the form of government. Democracy is the sense that the government answers the people. And the U.S. government does not represent the people, does not answer the people. It is an oligarchy. It only represents the very wealthy. Billionaires buy politicians. The billionaires control the republic, not ordinary people. And that is a bad thing. No matter what, occasionally you see internet trolls about, oh, it's a republic and it's fine. It works the way it's supposed to. No, it doesn't. This is not what the Founding Fathers had in mind. Thomas Jefferson said for a reason that banking institutions are more dangerous than standing armies. And that's because the Founding Fathers in the United States had problems with both standing armies and immense concentration of wealth, which could be a little bit hypocritical at times because they were landed gentry themselves, many of them. But people are capable of holding views that contradict their class position, something that too many Marxists never seem to get through their thick heads. I am a Marxist, a democratic socialist myself, but there's a lot of dogmatic behavior from Marxists. The idea that people can only hold views that align with their class interests, which is bullshit, especially because some Marxists even have a term for people who do something that's different. They call them class traders, as if it was a bad thing, as if all billionaires should automatically screw over the poor and not maybe some of them be Marxists. You can be a Marxist and a billionaire. It's obviously doing things that are not in your own interest, because Marxists want to take the corporations and factories and mines and all that stuff away from the billionaires, take away their source of their immense wealth and power. But people can believe that that'd be better for humanity and want to see it come into being, even if they benefit from the current system. In fact, I think the only way we're ever likely to see a socialist victory before capitalism kills the planet with climate change, or leads to a global thermonuclear war with imperialism, is if there's some powerful class traders who actually in the billionaire class who decide to work with socialists, decide that they've done well enough under the brutal exploitative system long enough, and it's time to make capitalism come to an end, even if it hurts them. Not everyone is greedy, selfish. It's kind of ironic because the very thing that capitalism is based on is this Butlerian philosophy that the world would be better if everyone did what's in their own self-interest. Marxists are sometimes really, just without realizing it, extending that kind of philosophy. They think because the working class has interests, they're different. Their self-interest is different. They should be standing for different things, but they don't seem to realize, no, the world is not going to be a good place if people would do what's in their own self-interest. Sometimes you have to sacrifice for the greater good. And if some billionaires don't do that, we're screwed because they're too powerful to ever break their power at this point. This isn't the era before the rise of the Soviet Union. Technology, AI, mass surveillance have made the billionaire class far too powerful to ever remove from power if some of them don't collaborate with those who, want to change the system. I'm not aware of any billionaires who want to do that right now. You get right-wingers say, oh, George Soros wants that. No, he doesn't. He's not a socialist. It'd be nice if he was a socialist. I wish George Soros was a Marxist, but he's not. Could certainly use some of his money on the left. Left is always underfunded, under-resourced, because we don't control the means of production, and that's the source of the immense wealth of the upper classes. The billionaires control it, so they get most of it, but then they always create privileged subgroups that collaborate with them, the police and some of the managerial class. In exchange for living a little better than most of the working class, the managerial class will fuck over the rest of the working class. Let's see. Control parade ground. I could, in theory, boom this base, actually. Thought I couldn't. It would substantially cut into my minerals. I'd lose 3 minerals. Production. Promise the new pup would put the base in the drone rights unless I assigned it as a doctor. So it's actually useless. I have to grow the base all the way to size 9 to get a pup that wouldn't have to work as a doctor. So I grow the base 3 times, I get 2 doctors and a worker. Oh well. Or 2 doctors and a technician. Since I eventually want to abandon parade ground. Because that base is not assimilated, will never be as happy as one that is. It'll take a long time, like 100 turns to assimilate, probably. Just a review of the bases here. See, they probably need that for a nutrient tile later. That's...
Request confirmation.
68 for 20 minerals. Not gonna rush this just yet. Eventually I might. Energy can be used to upgrade some rovers when needed anyways. Might want to stockpile a bit. And Civil Rights Agency will eventually be rushing out this Rec Commons. Give me a moment. I was just looking at this. It looks like I should super rush this Rec Commons. It'll pay for itself very quickly when the base is able to grow past size 6 all the way to... so right now, it gets to size 6, so it'll lose the Golden Age. So I'll have to go to 7 with a doctor, I think 8, 9. They should be able to get the size 9 in a reasonable time, and that'll pay for itself in minerals. So
insufficient energy.
I don't need to rush it all. In fact, I only need to spend 8, 16, extra 8 over. Yep, and then have 10 minerals next turn. At which point I can pay 2 energy per mineral. Defense command.
Confirmation.
Could to gain something like 7 former turns they could spend. Yeah, that's worth it. It's worth it. Why are they not? Seem to be in a golden age, even though they shouldn't be at defense command. Weird. Should drop out of their golden age. They don't have a chunks crash. They have a drone. Oof. unmodified. That can only mean that I'm starting to pick up bureaucracy drones. I didn't get the warning because they probably conquered over the base limit with parade ground. And yeah, so I'm getting a bureaucracy drone defense command, which will prevent me from growing it. So I might as well just work forced. That stinks, I guess. Being reviewed stuff. Oh, there's definitely 4 more work to be done. I might eventually actually landlock defense command. I shouldn't be opposed to the idea. Still have maritime, as long as I still have maritime command and oceans to sea access and eventually naval refuge here. Maybe I'll build another base out here. Well, let's see if this is raised. Maybe here. To strip out the fungus, or here. Don't have many bases that can produce naval units. 3 right now, since World Health Organization only does land units with its command center. And maybe I'll eventually poke out a sea former. But yeah, raising terrain will create more potential base sites along the coast. And make the sea even narrower as I try and eventually send colony pods over the Isle of Delaneria. Yeah, not near, whatever. It's cheaper to build land bases than sea ones. So, yeah, you get a free recycling tank, but recycling tanks are often not a cost-effective investment compared to just more colony pods or formers. Not to mention, or police infantry or recommend slot pop booming in many cases. Not to mention, you have to pay in minerals ahead of time for the pressure dome that's effectively a recycling tank with a sea base. Whereas if I do a land base, I can spend energy at a much cheaper rate to buy a recycling tank. So yeah, probably sell some bases here eventually. Borehole on this mineral bonus. I'll base next to it. A base here because there's no fungus there. Raise up this terrain. Bore a hole here once I clear the fungus. Could raise this, put a base here, but yeah, I'll figure it out. I'm gonna fit stuff in.
Request confirmation.
Nice. Let's get this farmer done. Golden Age is over because of this base game, the Bureaucracy Drone. There's no real easy way to predict where the drone would be. So working at a dot to try and maintain the Golden Age before made sense, but container start or whatever. This will grow up to require 30 nutrients to grow again. Got 9, it's 21. So in 8 turns, they'll still end up growing. Next turn will be added when Golden Age, when it realizes it's at an end. And I get an extra talent at size 5, so that'll effectively mean is the secret project will produce a worker. So I'll have 2 talents and a worker. Basically, the next pop will be a worker instead of a drone. It's the end result. Do fiscal monitoring. Turn on. Oh. Worth noting I could have statted this at a 1/3 chance if I want to. That way, for design agency. And I was going to go to press agency next anyways.